Have you ever thought of what it would be like to be terminally ill, diseased, or severely disabled? What if no matter what you did, life was a struggle? Would you even want to be alive? In some cases that answer may be a yes. But if instead that answer was no, wouldn't you like to be offered the choice of life or death? As Derek Humphrey stated, every competent adult has the incontestable right to humankind's ultimate civil and personal liberty, the right to die in a manner and at a time of their own choosing. Oregon and Washington are currently the only states that have legalized physician-assisted suicide. But today I will tell you why the United States government should legalize it in all states. Euthanasia should be legal in all states because people have the right to die, many are in extreme suffering, and there is proof that it works in the states who have legalized it. Like Joe Mercelli says on the Balanced Politics websites, the right to die should be a fundamental freedom of each person. It is a violation of religious freedom to prevent suicide. In doing this, the government is imposing its religious belief that suicide is a sin. The laws against euthanasia contradict the American Constitution. Not once does the Constitution state or imply that the government is allowed to keep a person from taking his or her own life. One should be able to believe and act upon whatsoever they see for themselves futuristically as well as temporarily, which is clearly established by our forefathers. Mortality clearly cannot be legislated by the government. As expressed on the BBC website, our religious beliefs, if the dying process is so unpleasant that people should have the right to shorten it. Science and medicine have brought many, many comforts in time of dire need. It is proven that the destiny of one's spirit is completely up to the beholder. Modern medicine has brought great beliefs to humanity, but it cannot entirely solve the pain and distress of the dying process, stated by Derek Humphrey. The Hemlock Society believes that the patient must be terminally ill and expected to die within 6 months. If someone has no quality of life, then euthanasia could be very much beneficial. Terminally ill patients look forward to death because suffering has made living intolerable, not because they desire to die, but merely because they cannot take the pain life is presenting. Suffering is not just pain, but as Gill and Batten put it, it's an afflicted state of being, a specific distress that happens to a particular person who has inflicted endurable pain or other symptoms, losses, enduring fear, hardship, injury, disaster, grief, sorrow, or care, and who has been changed as a result of burden. If America, the land of liberty, were to see their terminally ill and disabled residents the way they may see themselves under the given circumstances, physician-assisted suicide should not even be a questionable procedure. Once again, Humphrey declares that medically hastened death by request should be made lawful, as it is in the Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, Switzerland, and the American states of Oregon and Washington. Oregon enacted the Death of Dignity Act on October 27, 1997. Oregon's Department of Human Services explains that this act allows those diagnosed as terminally ill to end their lives through voluntary self-administration of lethal medications which are prescribed by a physician for that very purpose. This act also states that the patient must be a resident of the state of Oregon, 18 years of age or older, capable of making just decisions, and must be diagnosed as terminally ill. The top 5 concerns of those seeking this method were loss of independence or freedom, decrease in ability to participate in activities that make life enjoyable, loss of dignity, loss of control over bodily functions, and the feeling of burdening family, friends, and caregivers. There have never been any complications reported. Sheldon Richard of the Baltimore Chronicle expressed, "The voters of Oregon acted with great humanity when they decided to allow terminally ill people to determine when they have suffered enough." On August 31, 2009, the New York Times published an article on Montana's consideration of legalizing physician-assisted suicide. This was brought about due to the story of a 76-year-old man who wanted to die more than anything. If Oregon, Washington, and possibly Montana already allow physician-assisted suicide, then why shouldn't the rest of the United States? Today I have just informed you on why the United States government should legalize physician-assisted suicide in all states. Clearly something has to be done about this issue at the federal level. It is your God-given right to want to die, and if you are at the point of suffering where life itself is unbearable, then it should be your choice. It has been proven successful in the Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, Switzerland, Oregon, and Washington, so why not in the 48 United States that still remain without this law? If you found out that you were terminally ill, wouldn't you want to be remembered with dignity, rather than being remembered as an illness that overtook the body that used to be you? These are my audience members.